All right, YouTube. This is Detroit's HPTV coming at you this Thursday morning. I know you guys have been following the hurricanes that's going on down in the South. First it was Helene, now it's Milton. Now, the people in the Appalachians have got the worst of it so far. But with hurricanes, there's always residual effects from the flooding, the damage, and just the total chaos that comes with the hurricane. So, you know, Kamala gave him $750. She said it was to start with. But what we're going to talk about today is how she's mad at Ron Desantis because she was late getting down there. Trump got to the scene first. So now it's become a political issue, even though all these people's lives are at stake. Now, one thing about it, Kamala is so disingenuous with her concern for those people in the South that is blinding. You can see it. And now she wants to politicize it, but she's mad at Ron Desantis for not taking her call. Now, I want you to check out this storyline, how she's acting like a bitter baby mama or some mad ex-girlfriend about him not taking her call in response to her wanting to get a photo op about the hurricane. So I'm going to do a reaction to Pink Book Lessons, and I want you to check it out. And check out this story, and you can tell me, is this presidential? What's going on? This is for fair usage under the 1976 Copyright Act for education and commentary and the First Amendment. Check out y'all want to be president, how she's feeling lately.
Elaine was a wake-up call. This is literally catastrophic, and I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay in one of those evacuation areas, you're going to die.
Wow. I mean, that's the mayor of Tampa, Florida, speaking on Hurricane Milton. It's expected to hit the same area in Florida that Hurricane Helene damaged 2 weeks ago. Yes, Tampa Bay is bracing for its strongest storm in over 100 years. Now a Category 5, it's expected to drop to a Category 4 upon landfall in Florida. Forecasters warned that Milton could bring a 10 to 15-foot storm surge to Tampa Bay, resulting in evacuation orders being issued. Thousands of residents piled up on 75 North to get out of the region, and on Monday, Florida Governor Ron Desantis announced that he directed the suspension of tolls across Central Florida and West Florida, as well as Alligator Alley, in preparation for Hurricane Milton. By suspending tolls in the impacted area, Floridians and visitors will be better able to quickly and safely evacuate. And that's what they're doing. They're all getting out of there, and they don't have to worry about paying.
Now, you think about this. The other lady said if they didn't evacuate, they would lose their lives. So they said they did them a big favor by not charging them on the toll. You mean to tell me that that was even a consideration, that these people evacuating would have to wait on a toll? You can't make this up. These politicians now are really showing their true color and their manipulation of the mindset of American people. You got to watch this.
Tolls, those tolls will be waived for 7 days. No doubt about it, Milton is stronger than Helene and is aiming for Florida. No other areas are expected to be in its way. So this is super difficult for Floridians forced to deal with two major hurricanes just 2 weeks apart. They're still cleaning up from the last hurricane, and then boom, here comes another one. Now, Kamala Harris, she's doing really bad in the polls. So not only is she fighting and clawing for relevancy, but she's desperate doing anything she can for support, which is why she's attempting to make herself a victim right now. Never mind all the hurricane victims from Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, West Virginia. No, forget about all of them and whatever they're going through. We have to coddle Kamala right now. You won't believe this. Her team intentionally leaked reports to the media that she was trying to call Ron DeSantis and he wouldn't pick up the phone. literally came up with all this drama and used their press to repeat this nonsense on their bottom paid-for media, MSNBC. They also used their White House press secretary, Karine, to push a false narrative.
DeSantis refused to take a call from Vice President Harris specifically around Hurricane Milton. Can you just talk about that and any communication around this new hurricane?
Look, that is something for the governor to speak to himself. If you have the president and you have the vice president reaching out to offer up assistance provided to your constituents, the people who live in your state, to make sure we are doing everything that we need to do from a federal response, and we're reaching out, offering our support, that's for the governor. The governor, it's up to him if he wants to respond to us or not. But what we're doing is we're working with state and local officials to make sure that we are pre-positioned, to make sure that we are ready to be there for the communities that are going to be impacted. We are doing the job that is needed, that we believe is needed to protect the communities and to make sure that they have everything that is needed. You heard me talk about the declaration. We approved that for Florida. That's moving forward. And so we're taking this very, very seriously. That's for the governor to speak to. That is.
I don't know what's going on with Karine standing up here with this man's suit literally hanging off her body. She was the one spread the narrative that Kamala was trying to call the governor and he wouldn't answer the phone. But according to Ron Desantis, he spoke to Biden and the FEMA director. He requested what was needed for his state, and they provided everything that he requested. As for Kamala, he said he did not get a call from her, and she never talked to him over the last 4 years either.
And Hurricane Helene was a Category 4 storm. It did significant damage to the state of Florida. We've been on this footing now for 2 weeks straight in terms of preparation response. And now we have an even bigger storm that's bearing down, as you pointed out, on a very populated area, potentially could do even more damage. And we've been laser focused on leveraging all resources available, including from the federal government. And I've been in touch with both FEMA and the president, as well as marshaling all our state agencies and working to support our local communities. And so for Kamala Harris to try to say that my sole focus on the people of Florida is somehow selfish is delusional. She has no role in this.
As long as my heart beats, I'll never quit.
In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this. No, and here's the thing. She has no role. No, she has no role in this process. I'm in contact with the President of the United States. I'm in contact with FEMA director. I'm obviously managing all our state agencies. We're supporting all our local government. And I will say this. I've had storms under both President Trump and President Biden, and I've worked well with both of them. She's the first one who's trying to politicize the storm, and she's doing that just because of her campaign. She's trying to get some...
And this is typical of how Kamala operates with her cosplaying, her comedian behavior. She would make an issue as if she's trying to really assist those Floridians, but in all the time, it's a campaign stunt. Because she's been saying that her hands is tied as vice president for the last 4 years. So now all of a sudden she wants to take the lead on something when she didn't take the lead on the border. Listen to him.
Type of an edge. She knows she's doing poorly, and so she's playing these political games. I don't have time for political games. I've got peoples whose lives are on the line. I've got peoples whose homes and their possessions are on the line, and we are focused 100% on that mission. I'm not worried about playing her political games, and so she is being selfish by trying to blunder into this when we're working just fine.
Governor DeSantis, NBC is reporting Governor DeSantis is ignoring your calls on hurricanes, resources, and help. How does that hurt the situation here?
You know, moments of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone who calls themselves a leader says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now, and playing political games
way she explained it and the way she's not taking accountability is she's a typical narcissistic woman. Most of her young life, she was getting by on her looks. Now that she's an old woman, she just uses manipulation, gaslighting, and victimhood. You know what I mean? And you see it not only in politics, you see it in real life. These people squander their youth in getting by on their looks. When they get old and that doesn't work anymore, it's gaslighting, victimhood, never accepting accountability and blaming others, all so that they can be the center of attention and act as if they're the hero in this story. But just think about what DeSantis said. Out of 4 years, she's never been concerned with a hurricane or the people. When have you ever known Kamala Harris to care about people? People.
Selfish, and it is about political gamesmanship instead of doing the job that you took an oath to do, which is to put the people first.
Madam Vice President, Milton's arrival, what does it mean for resources?
You turned down calls from both Biden and Harris. Are you saying you're not aware of that? And if so, how are you not aware of that?
So Biden called me a couple days ago with Helene when I was on the helicopter. I didn't have any issues. They had helped us with what we've done. I'm not aware that he's tried to call since then. Certainly hasn't called my phone, so I don't know quite where they're getting that information. At the same time, we got the approvals that we need. If there's something else that we need, I'll hop on the phone very quickly, whether that's the FEMA administrator or the president, and we will press the case to be able to get approvals for what we need in Florida. But we have gotten approvals for everything that we've asked for.
In this area?
I didn't know that she had called, so I'm not sure who they called. They didn't call me, and their characterization of it was something that they did. It wasn't anything that anybody in my office did in terms of saying that it was political.
Given the severity of the storm,
I'm going to ask you guys a question. With all we know about these individual politicians, who do you think is lying? Ron Desantis or Kamala Harris? Do you really think that the vice president called down there and they wouldn't take her call to see what she wanted or to answer questions? They just said, no, we're not taking a call from the vice president and the candidate of the Democratic Party. Who do you think's lying? Because one of them is lying.
I just want to ask you about politics right now in terms of should
I don't really want to answer questions about this. This is not a time for politics. No, excuse me, Gary. You and your publication will twist anything that's done to try to make a political agenda. That's what you do. That's how you get your clicks. I understand that. I understand that's the business model. Well, but I don't want to talk about politics because, but I have a feeling that however you do, you guys will find a way to frame it. That's just your shtick. I get it. It's fine. But I don't want to participate in it. We have had to respond to a Category 4 hurricane. We've had to prepare and now respond to something that may hit as a major hurricane, may be Category 4, may even be bigger than that. We hope that it does. But that should be the focus. And I think some of these questions are trying to create some type of political angle where there's just none there. What we've asked for has been approved. You're not seeing me out there carping or complaining about anything. We have gotten what we need from the feds. We have been working constructively with all the local communities. We have marshaled an incredible amount of resources in the state of Florida to be able to get the job done. And that's just what we're going to continue to do. That's what we've always done.
Governor, I know Kamala Harris called you selfish. She said she's tried to contact you to talk to you about hurricane relief, and I know that you said I think you said she didn't try to contact you. We want to get your response. We don't have the sound, but she said, moment of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone calls himself a leader, says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now and playing political games at this moment in these crisis situations. These are the height of emergency situations. It's just utterly irresponsible and it's selfish.
I mean, it's crazy to think about it. It used to cost millions to advertise on TV, and now.
And it's about political gamemanship. What's your response?
Well, I think she should look in the mirror. We've been on an emergency footing for 2 weeks straight, round the clock, 24/7. We've been working, my office, our Division of Emergency Management, helping people prepare for Hurricane Helene, helping effectuate rescues of people after Hurricane Helene, helping people pick up the pieces of their lives after Helene, and then have to also turn around and prepare for major impacts and maybe even more impacts from Hurricane Milton, be able to have rescue personnel ready to help people, and then, of course, help with the power restoration, all these things to do. So that's been my sole focus. My focus has not been on dealing with Kamala Harris. I saw the news report. I didn't know she tried to contact me, but I'd also say it's not about you, Kamala. Right. It's about the people of Florida. My focus is exactly where it should be, and I can tell you this. I've worked on these hurricanes under both President Trump and President Biden. Neither of them ever tried to politicize it. She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past? We know it's because of politics. We know it's because of her campaign. I have zero time to entertain these political games. We're going to continue to do what we need to do to prepare and respond to what may be one of the most damaging storms in the history of the United States. So she says focusing on protecting your people is selfish. I think she ought to look in the mirror.
And right now, Governor, just to conclude, you have what you need from the federal government as well as you feel like you have the resources in place. Is that correct?
Every request we've made, and I've been in contact with the president. I've been in contact with the FEMA director. You know, it's interesting. Harris is not even in the chain of command.
Yeah, what
she
is
has
she
no
even doing?
role in this. I mean, the idea that I should be like worrying about her when I'm focused on the task at hand is just, quite frankly, absurd. So yes, all of our requests have been answered. We have marshaled all state resources that are available to us. It's going to be a very robust response, but it's going to be a lot of damage, and we're bracing for that. I'd ask everyone to keep us in your prayers. We know we're going to get hit, but hopefully we can pray that this storm will weaken and do the least amount of damage possible.
Kamala, fake and phony chameleon. Why all of a sudden you're trying to call Florida when Florida has several storms every year? You've been in office for 4 years and never called before. No, never went down there for hurricane preparation or recovery, not even once. Now, all of a sudden, she's acting like a mad girlfriend, talking about she called somebody and they didn't answer the phone. This lady is 60 years old. Grow up. She can't lead anybody. She's not good at thinking on her toes. She can't solve any real issues. And nobody expects her to do so, nor do they trust her to do it anyway. No, I'm sorry. This is not a beauty pageant or the Players Club. It's not about you. You are not the center of attention. You have real people impacted by these disasters right now. Physically, mentally, whole towns are ruined. Their local economy is ruined. We're talking about folks destroyed financially. Their homes are destroyed. Their jobs are gone. And up there in North Carolina, she came in there talking about $750. Nah, nobody has time for Kamala and her foolishness. She's not about business. She don't stand on business. And everybody is not like her boule flunkies looking for hugs and pats on the back or a Diddy-style party. People are out here trying to put their lives back together, not listen to your baby bot bimbo babble. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Tell me what you think about this mess below. Special thank you to Larry. I appreciate you, Larry, for all of your support for the channel, as well as Mike G, Dark Power, David, Randy, and Starlet. If you want to show your support for the channel too, you have to use PayPal for now. The link is below.
Shout out to Pink Book Lessons. But as you can see, she's been in there 4 years. And hurricanes come almost every season. You have a whole hurricane season. The level of pandering and politicizing human beings' lives from the Democratic Party is ridiculous. What does 4 years more of the Democrats look like? The same people that opened the borders and created that chaos are now playing politics with Category 4 hurricanes. Tell me what you think about this in the comments. Do you think that she was sincerely, all of a sudden, so concerned about what's going on in Florida. You see their slow response to the North Carolinas. This political season is getting more and more dangerous because you have Hillary Clinton predicting some kind of catastrophic black swan event. What do they know that they're not telling the people? You even have podcasts where they're talking about they're using lasers to create storms, to create chaos. They said that's a conspiracy theory. But there's histories of the governments using certain technology to create mudslides and storms in different places. But they call that a conspiracy theory. But what y'all think about that? Anyway, this is Thursday morning, and that was deep. We're going to see how this plays out because a Category 4 hurricane so soon after Helene is definitely going to wreak havoc down in the south and on the coastline. So, signing to you out of Detroit. This is Detroit's HPTV. Support the nonprofit Detroit's Black Thought and Ask Collective. The cash app is in the description. As always, salute to all patriots. Y'all keep y'all head on a swivel. Like, share, and subscribe. Peace.